Hello and welcome to my channel. This is The Unorthodox Investor, where we talk about everything to do with global financial news, investing, budgeting, spending, and financial freedom. So today we're going to discuss BP and annual reports. So today BP has released its annual report, and the stock market hasn't opened yet. As you can see, the BP share price finished at 403.53 yesterday, so £4.05. And we're going to see what happens and what that, we're going to look at the news actually, and we're going to see what that's going to mean for the share price upon open in 4 minutes. So I'm going to show you my favorite website that I use to check out the news, and that is a website called LSE. Let's type it into Google here, LSE, or London South East, not the London School of Economics. So if you hit enter here, you'll see London Stock Exchange as well. London South East, I find, is a very nice website for having a look at things like the news. So what you can do is you can hit the wee search bar here. It's much more kind of mobile friendly. And BP. So BP symbol is BP dot. You can click on them here like so. And then you get a really nice kind of like subset of kind of things you can click on, like the news, the share trades, the share chat, that sort of thing. So I wouldn't get too much involved in the chat because there's a lot of people talking a lot of things and it's just very confusing. So just let's head straight to the RNS. So the RNS is the Regulatory News Service, and that is news that is released by the company itself. So already we can see on the 8th of February, well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back here. What you can see is they've released 3 pieces of news this morning, and that's why this website's great, because it just arranges it all very, very nicely for you. You can see BP have been buying back their own shares, and we have the final results right here. So we also got an update on strategic process and share repurchases. So they're really trying to give a lot of news here. So let's have a quick scan of the final results. Now, obviously, if you're a BP shareholder or want to be, then you're going to want to kind of read through this quite a lot to make sure that you are investing in the thing that you want to invest in. Now, I would start with kind of 2 things when I'm looking at the results. 3 things actually. So firstly, what I personally look at is I look at the kind of headline figures. So that's obviously what the company wants to tell you. Secondly, I always look at dividends, because that's a good sense of your return, or a portion of your return that you're going to get from the company. If they're paying dividends, they're making profit and they're making cash. And the third thing I look at is the cash flow statement, but we'll dive into that in future videos. So let's have a little look. So we can see the profit for the period was, so this is the 4th quarter results and full year results. So you can see the profit was 2.3 billion, which is great. Now, it doesn't actually say what the currency is, which is a little bit annoying, but I see lots of dollar signs here, so I'm going to say that's dollars. Why BP report in dollars and pay their dividends in dollars? No idea, but there we go. So their results for the year, their profit for the year was 7.5 billion, but BP used this thing called replacement cost profit, which is kind of like like underlying a replacement cost profit. So what companies will do is they will often have their own measure for profit, because under current accountancy rules, maybe that doesn't marry alongside well with a business. So what you should do is you kind of look at both of these figures and see, like, under accountancy rules, what is their profit? And obviously, like, under their own rules, their profit's going to be a lot higher. So you can see that BP's profit, their own profit under their rules, is 12.8 billion, which is their highest profit in 8 years. So we've got to assume that the investors are going to like that. So the share price today should go up. That's our expectation, but not necessarily. Let's do a wee bit more of a dive. So what I tend to do is Control F, find, and then type in dividends. So you can see, if we flick to dividends here, you can have a look. So you can see here, for the 4th quarter, BP has announced a dividend of 5.46 cents. So that was the same as it was last quarter and the same as it was quarter before that. So they've not increased their dividend. If you get an increase in dividend, usually you'll see the share price increase. And of course, it's good for you as an investor because you will then get a better return and it means the company is doing better. So they've kept that dividend the same. So it depends on what investors think, whether they think that the dividend should have increased. If they think the dividend should have increased and it hasn't, then maybe the share price will go down. So I'm not going to delve into the cash flow statement just now because I feel that that's probably a much longer video. So I think that's enough just to have a little look at the headlines there. Let's go back to the live news and have a look at the others. So we've got strategic progress. Now, I read this previously this morning and they talk a lot about in here their plan for moving to renewables. So they're investing a lot in renewables. They say they're on track to make profits from renewables by 2030, and they're kind of growing their renewables revenue streams. So that's quite nice. And then last but not least is the share repurchases. Now, I haven't read this one yet, so it'll be interesting to kind of dive in and let's see what they're saying. So they're saying that they're going to distribute 60% of the surplus cash flow. So that's cash flow that's not needed within the business or that's going towards capital expenditure, like assets, like investing in more renewables. And BP have not only just reached their net debt target of 35 billion, which sounds still quite high, but they're actually now about 30.8 billion in terms of net debt. So it's come down a lot due to the high oil price. So let's see. So the maximum amount allocated to the share repurchases is 1.5 billion, which at the current market cap is about, I want to say 1.5% of the current market cap of BP. They're going to pay back in share repurchases up to 29th of April. So where are we? February. So it's February, March, April. So 3 months, they're paying back 1.5% of the market cap. So that's a 1.5% return you're getting right there. Never mind the dividend, which is round about another 1.5%. So that's 3% return we're expecting in the next 3 months, which is pretty good. It is pretty good, you know. So that is all a good sign. So the markets have opened. They've been open for 3 minutes. So let's dive in and have a check of the share price. Now, before I go in, I was going to get you to guess, but actually what I've realised is I've got BP on the watch list down here. So you can see already the market's opened. You can see already the share price moving. And we can see that the share price is up 1% there. So let's go into my main watch list, refresh this, and we can see that the BP share price is already up 1%. So the market has taken that news well. Actually, it's up 2.5%. Okay, so that's definitely a good sign. So the market's taken the news well. So our little bit of analysis there obviously has rung true. The market's quite enjoyed that, at least for the open. So let's just sit back and see what happens for the rest of the day. But thank you for joining me today. Hopefully that was interesting and informative, and I will look forward to joining you on future videos. See you soon.